Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So, I need a book, I need something to read. That looks very small. I think. No. I mean, it's no problem. 1 to 16. That's it. Shusho Shadadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Shanmahatsevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nisevana Shusho Shadadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Shanmahatsevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nisevana Shusho Shadadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Shanmahatsevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nisevana
Sushusho Sharadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Shanmahatsevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nisevana Shusho Shradanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Shanmahatsevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nisevana.
Ladies.
Shusho Shadadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Shanmahatsevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nisevana Shusho Shadadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Shanmahatsevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nisevana
Shusho. One who is engaged in hearing. Shadadanasya. With care and attention. Vasudeva. In respect to Vasudeva. Kata, the message. Ruchi, affinity. Sya is made possible. Mahatsevaya, by service rendered to pure devotees. Vipra, O twice born. Punyatirtha, those who are cleansed of all vice. Nisevana, by service. O twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. The conditioned life of a living being is caused by his revolting against the Lord. There are men called Deva or godly living beings, and there are men called Asuras or demons, who are against the authority of the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter, a vivid description of the Asuras is given, in which it is said that the Asuras are put into lower and lower status of ignorance, life after life, and so sink to the lower animal forms and have no information of the absolute truth, the personality of God. These Asuras are gradually rectified to God consciousness by the mercy of the Lord's liberated servitors in different countries according to the supreme will. Such devotees of God are very confidential associates of the Lord, and when they come to save human society from the dangers of godlessness, they are known as the powerful incarnations of the Lord, as sons of the Lord, as servants of the Lord, or as associates of the Lord. But none of them falsely claim to be God themselves. This is a blasphemy declared by the Asuras, and the demoniac followers of such Asuras also accept pretenders as God or his incarnation. In the revealed scriptures there is definite information of the incarnation of God. No one should be accepted as God or an incarnation of God unless he is confirmed by the revealed scriptures. The servants of God are to be respected as God by the devotees who actually want to go back to Godhead. Such servants of God are called Mahatmas or Tirthas, and they preach according to a particular time and place. Servants of God urge people to become devotees of the Lord. They never tolerate being called God. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God himself according to the indication of the revealed scriptures, but he played the part of a devotee. People who knew him to be God addressed him as God, but he used to block his ears with his hands and chant the name of Lord Vishnu. He strongly protested against being called God, although undoubtedly he was God himself. The Lord behaved so to warn us against unscrupulous men who take pleasure in being addressed as God. The servants of God come to propagate God consciousness in intelligent people should cooperate with them in every respect. By serving the servant of God, one can please God more than by directly serving the Lord. The Lord is more pleased when he sees that his servants are properly respected, because such servants risk everything for the service of the Lord, and so are very dear to the Lord. The Lord declares in the Bhagavad Gita, 1896, that no one is dearer to him than one who risks everything to preach his glory. By serving the servants of the Lord, one gradually gets the quality of such servant, and thus one becomes qualified to hear the glories of the Lord. The eagerness to hear about God is the first qualification of a devotee, eligible for entering the kingdom of God. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Gyanam Jana Salakaya Shakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manabhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadama Yendranati Svapadantikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There are many key points in the verse that we can focus on, and the first point I would like to focus on is Prahladananda. Because Shraddha, or faith, is the key to appreciating Krishna. It is exactly that is what takes place. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Chaitanya Siksamrita is giving a description that he says that a devotee who has nistha, who has firm determination, such a devotee can instill faith in a conditioned soul. He says a devotee who is in bhava, he can even do more than that. He can instill ruchi, he can instill taste in a conditioned soul. Taste for serving Krishna. And one who is in prem, who is in Krishna prem, can uplift a conditioned soul and completely transform that personality up to any level. We can think of the example of Saranga Thakur, who touched a dead body, and the dead body came back to life and subsequently became a great devotee. And particularly a devotee that was fearless of death, and therefore he used to slap tigers in the face and tell them to chant the holy name. That was Murari Chaitanya. So it is that faith that is instilled in the heart of the conditioned soul by the mercy of a devotee. And it is because of that faith that one develops taste for hearing about Krishna. Because when one appreciates the benefits that are there from hearing about Krishna, then naturally there is eagerness. So the Vaishnavas who have deep faith in serving Krishna, they are the ones who are greatly relishing everything. Not only are the descriptions about Krishna certainly very nice, not only is Krishna performing very playful pastimes, not only is Krishna Sadaishvarya Purna, having all the six opulences in full, all beauty, all knowledge, all wealth, all renunciation, all strength, and all fame. Not only does Krishna have all these six opulences, but Krishna is also unlimitedly merciful. And while we are hearing about Krishna and his pastimes, we ourselves are being purified and delivered from so much karma that we carry with us, and that gives us so many reactions that we suffer every day. And our very existence in this material body, which is a constant level of suffering. And we think we enjoy, just like the man in hospital who is with a broken leg. When you ask him, how are you? He'll say, okay, I'm fine. So, but the fact is, we are not, because the reactions of our sinful activities are always there. at you through my glasses means I'm half blind due to sinful reactions, and that's only the beginning. Right? And looking with these glasses, I get a good look of you, and you don't look much better in that regards. I mean, everyone is afflicted by sinful reactions, and sometimes, when you get to know people and you hear what's wrong with them, it's shocking. This one has a hole in his liver, that one has a heart that only works half. It's amazing, right? I read about a man who had worms in his brain, which was the cause of his forgetfulness. The worms were eating holes in his brain. So, who knows? So all these sinful reactions that I just illustrated for you to sort of get you more engaged are there. So immediately, upon hearing from Krishna, we are being relieved from such sufferings immediately. Also relieved ultimately from material existence, a step closer to being out of this material realm. So we can see that the taste for hearing about Krishna is not just there because we are so eager to hear from Srimad Bhagavatam, but also the benefit is there. Especially in the beginning, that element may be greater, maybe a greater cause of motivation than actual taste for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Because that requires more purification. It requires a deeper appreciation of Krishna. One has to gradually appreciate the mercy of Krishna more. There are in the scriptures different words that are used for mercy. One word is daya. We know that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Tomarbina Ke Doyalu in the entire who, other than you in this entire universe is merciful. So the word daya is oftentimes used for mercy in a general sense, which is generally distributed. Sometimes also for personal mercy, but mostly we see for general mercy. The word kripa is often, another word for mercy, is often used for more personal mercy, sometimes for general mercy. But then we see that in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we see the description of Krishna and his eternal associates. And when we are looking for the word of mercy in the 10th canto, it is mostly, the word that is used is mostly prasadam. It's prasadam. Because the eternal residents, they see mercy in a different way. They see it as prasadam. They see how it is a wonderful gift of the Lord, who just anything touched by Him, anything that has been in contact with the Supreme Lord is prasadam, some way or other, and filled with mercy. So like this, devotees are always seeking out such mercy. That is the advanced devotees. So they are, and they see that mercy everywhere. So they have eagerness. That is mature faith. When faith matures, then eagerness develops. It is that eagerness that is the essence for going further, for going beyond the initial stages of becoming purified. And such eagerness comes really from faith, from deep faith in Krishna's mercy, and seeing how powerful, how strong that mercy is. Therefore one can see it. Then one can see it everywhere. If one thinks, yes, the holy name is powerful, yes, it can purify everyone, yes, that is maybe a shallow understanding of the holy name. The holy name is all powerful, because the holy name is non different from Krishna. So as soon as one brings in that element, that the holy name is not just invested with spiritual potency, but it is all powerful because it's non-different from Krishna, then one takes it already to another level. And then, who is Krishna? And as we explore more and more Krishna's amazing nature, the more we appreciate how actually everything is touched by Krishna's mercy. Last night we were reading from the Chaitanya Chandramrita from Kavi Karnapur, which is a book of faith. It is a book of incredible faith in Lord Chaitanya's mercy. So much more than we have, although we also appreciate Lord Chaitanya. And the result is that by hearing about that faith, one feels that one's enthusiasm becomes renewed again. Because we have the tendency to feel that spiritual life is a burden. We have the tendency to experience that spiritual life is difficult. Yesterday on the news, when I arrived, they put the camera in my face, and I said that Igor's news is very nice because it's always good news, right? But then, it was not only good news, after all. There was bad news as well, because they asked about material desires. And they are bad news, right? So, bad news was also there. And the devotees, yes, they tried to comment on it, yes, material desires, material influence, yes, well, it's part of life, and this and that. Yes, because that is the stage in where we are. That is our focus. We are focused on the material desires and our struggle with our material desires. But it is not that spiritual life continues like that. Material desires, these are insignificant things. First of all, let us have no faith in material desires. What is the point of material desires? Meaningless things. Strange things that somehow or other come into the mind. One devotee complained to Srila Prabhupada that sometimes also his mind was becoming very disturbed by material desires. He said, why? I am trying, I'm so much trying to be Krishna conscious. Why are these thoughts coming? Prabhupada said, these thoughts are coming to remind you to never do these things again. So, yes, that's all. Whenever a material desire occurs, let it remind us that we never want to get entangled with such things again. So, therefore, believe that for what it is. Because the material world is not worth it. The entire material world, we may as well just cross it out, forget about it. Anything. There's nothing. Just nothing. And the only thing it's good for is service to Krishna. But even that is difficult with material energy. It's easier in the spiritual world with wish-fulfilling desire trees and kamadhenus, all these things. So why waste our time and serve here? Of course. Here, there is also a special service. There is no doubt. The pastimes of the Lord in this material realm are different. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is spreading his mercy everywhere and reaching out in various tricky ways to the conditioned souls by just appearing in their lives, then the pastimes are different. The spiritual world is divided up in two halves. One half is Golok, Gokul, where the pastimes of Krishna take place. One half is Svetadvipa, where the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya eternally take place. But when the pastimes come to the material world, they do get a special flavor, because they get the flavor of touching conditioned souls and transforming them. So ultimately, Shushusho Shadadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi. The Vaishnavas are always engaged in this world in glorifying Krishna and in bringing that glory of Krishna to the conditioned souls, somehow or other. Therefore, Sanmahat Sevya Vipra, this Mahat Seva, or serving of the Mahatmas, ultimately means that, glorifying Krishna and connecting conditioned souls with that glorification. And that is truly the Mahat Seva, where we can develop, as a result, Vasudeva Kataruchi, taste for hearing about Vasudeva. It comes from that service, the service to glorify Krishna, and then pass that on to others. When Srila Prabhupada, on his final tour to the West, was in Germany, in England, in the Bhaktivedanta Manor, several devotees came from all over Europe to meet him, and the German devotees also came. They were the Sankirtan devotees. And they came into the manor. They were the leading Sankirtan devotees. They came to the manor, and they were a bit loud. So everyone said, "Shh, quiet, quiet. Prabhupada is not well. Silent." Then the devotees mentioned that they wanted to meet Prabhupada. And the ones who were already there said, "Oh no, he's not meeting anyone, he's just resting." I said, No, he will surely see us, because we are the Sankirtan devotees. And Prabhupada said, yes. Prabhupada said, yes, set them up. And they came up. So Manidhar described that when he came in, he saw Prabhupada seated in the room, and it was as if Prabhupada was seated in Vaikuntha, and if they were looking over the wall of Vaikuntha. And then Prabhupada said, "So, you are distributing my books?" "Yes, Srila Prabhupada, we are distributing many of your books, yes." And Prabhupada immediately he didn't respond to that. He just said, "Are you reading my books?" And everyone was shocked. "Reading the books? You're supposed to do that also?" They're just distributing them. He said, "No, are you reading the books? What is the most important verse?" And now Prithu takes over the story, because I heard it so many times. And then Prithu says, yes, then he spoke up and said, "Yada dekatara kaha Krishna upadesh, amma agyaya gurvaya taresh." Prithu's favorite verse. And he said, yes, whomever you meet, instruct them about Krishna, and in this way deliver the entire country. And Prabhupada said, yes, very nice. Very nice. What does it mean? And then everyone was totally lost. What does it mean? But what it means is that when we ourselves are absorbed in the glorification of Krishna, when our hearts are full in relishing the glorification of Krishna, then naturally, whomever we touch, a conditioned soul is transformed, and faith will awaken in their heart. And in this way, Vasudev, Kataruchi, will take over the world. Thank you very much. Now, this was the introduction. Prahladananda Maharaj, who indeed has such taste. You can see it when he chants Radhamana. He has such taste. Therefore, now I'm quickly moving off this chair, and then Maharaj will give us the essence.
Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Mate Bhaktivedanta Swami Kanana Namaste Saraswati Deve Gora Vani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shinivadi Askadhyadi. Thank you, Kanana Maharaj. Be nice class. Actually, they just put me here to give a summary of this class.
Make the correction.
I would dare do so. Here again is that word Shraddhadanasya. And Sushusho Shraddhadanasya. So Su or Shru means very nicely. And Shraddha, of course, or Shru, Su's Shru. So Shru means to hear very nicely. And that's explained by Shraddhadanasya, because that's with great care and attention. Love means care and attention. Or as Prabhupada writes in the Krishna book, the art of Krishna consciousness is the art of first focusing our attention and then giving our love to Krishna. So first we have to pay attention. And as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that's called pay attention to Krishna, and as Kadamba Maharaj said, don't pay attention to other things other than Krishna. And properly means we should do service to Krishna. Once we focus our attention to Krishna, then we can do what Krishna wants better, because even at the beginning, our love for Krishna is shown by the fact that we're trying to pay attention to Him. And then we give our love to Him, our enthusiasm. And this is basically what our instruction is all about. Maj Shita, Maj Gata, Prana. Shita is consciousness, our attention, and then give our prana, our energies, in the service of Krishna. And the result is, by hearing from the devotees about that, there's tu shanti. We become satisfied that yes, I'm making some progress. I'm not so much under the clutches of Krishna. I'm actually fulfilling the orders of my spiritual master in Krishna. And then with enthusiasm. And Krishna says, when we come to the stage of Ramanti, there's nothing else other than fulfilling the orders of our spiritual master with enthusiasm. And that's what we're trying to develop. And as we develop that, then Krishna reciprocates. Tesham satatam yuktanam vajantam priti purvakam dadami buddhiyogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Krishna is just waiting there, watching us. Please, with some enthusiasm, do something for me and try to do it steadily. And Srila Prabhupada, as Kadamba Maharaj has pointed out, has emphasized what our previous acharyas have emphasized also. First of all, let us try to fix our minds upon Krishna by using our intelligence. Or as Krishna says, the one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, then I am never lost to him, nor is he ever lost to me. So how to see Krishna everywhere? Well, we have to utilize everything in Krishna's service, and at the same time, with our intelligence at the beginning, understand that Krishna is everywhere. It's all Krishna's energy. We're all Krishna's servants. At least intellectually understand that. That's what we're hearing about. And then with care and attention, try to do what's necessary to realize that. So as Prithu's favorite verse is, Yari Deka Tarikaha Krishna Upadesh Amara Aga Gruhana Taridesh. Whoever we meet. So who does that mean? Only when we go out in the street with a book in our hand, then we meet them and we try to give them the book about Krishna, and that's our service to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. Or does it mean when we're doing Harinam, we're trying to spread Krishna consciousness? No, of course it means that. But it means even more than that. It means whoever we meet. Therefore, Maharaj Shavde says, that Gora nasyasya, swajano nasyasya, pita nasyasya, swajani nasyasya, daivam nasyasya, saj, janani nasyasya. What's the next one? Anyhow, one should not become a father, one should not become a guru, one should not become a relative, worshipful relative, one should not become a father or a mother or a husband, unless one is prepared, or demigod, or unless one is prepared to deliver their dependence from the cycle of birth and death. So whoever we meet, everyone has a responsibility. Everyone is supposed to become guru. Not in the sense that guru means I initiate disciples, I give them a new name, and I chant on their beads, and I'm guru, and everyone else is, well, we don't know what everyone else is.
Yeah.
They're servants of the guru, or something. No, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said everyone is supposed to be guru, because that doesn't mean that we become the controller of disciples, because the guru doesn't think like, if he's actually guru, or perhaps in the future, if she's actually guru, which means initiating guru, it doesn't mean that at all. It means exactly the opposite of that. It means one is supposed to be guru when one sees himself as simply the servant of 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 the servants of Krishna. And one sees oneself as a instrument. Nimitra matram bhavasavasachin. Just become an instrument. Just let Krishna be the guru. Just let Krishna utilize his energies, which include what we think is our body, which is actually Krishna's body, which we think is our words, which should be Krishna's words, which we may think our feelings, and our feelings may be there, but it's actually we want to project. We want Krishna to be in our heart. We want our Guru to be in our heart. We want the disciple succession to be in our heart. We want the 6 Goswamis to be in our heart. We want the Panchatattva to be in our heart. So the whole spiritual world is in our heart. And that's the feelings we're trying to project to the world. And those feelings will deliver others. So our job, whoever we meet, we may be in the spiritual world, we may be projecting the spiritual world, we may be in the spiritual world, we may be in this world, but we fulfill the orders of our spiritual master, who is fulfilling the orders of the disciple succession, coming from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And whoever we meet, we try to tell them something about Krishna. Whether it be our wife, or our husband, or our children, or our friends, or some innocent people we meet on the street. We think, how can I help them become Krishna conscious? Because we are eternally servants of everyone. How we serve them will depend upon how much intelligence Krishna is giving us. But we should know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told us that we're servants of everyone, and to serve everyone in this world properly, we require some instruction coming from our higher authorities, the example of the devotees. It may require the realizations coming from Paramatma within our heart. There are so many factors in how we serve others to help them become Krishna conscious, but that is the mission. As Kadamba Maharaj had recited from the, I think it was Chaitanya Charitamrita, is that right? That at the stage of Shraddha, at the stage of Nishtha, one can give Shraddha to others. But that's the platform that we're supposed to work from. We're supposed to work from the platform of Nishtha. Yes, we know, and we went around the room, or asked everyone to raise their hands. Sometimes we do that just to see who's awake. Please raise your hands. You too, raise your hand. Oh, we'll all say, yes, I'm a conditioned soul. I'm a fallen conditioned soul. I'm the most fallen conditioned soul. My mind. Yes, we all know we have a material mind, and it's going, ooh. Oh, no, not you again. Yeah. Remember me. I can't forget you. Yes, we know we have a mind, but by the mercy of our spiritual master coming into disciple succession, we have an opportunity to work on a platform above our material mind. That is, work as a platform. Prabhupada says devotional, not Prabhupada only, Krishna says devotional service begins on the platform of liberation. Brahma, Bhuta, Prasanatma, Nishoshiti, Nakamshiti, Samak Sarveshu, Bhuteshu, Mad Bhaktim, Labate Param. Yes, there's hankering, there's lamentation, there's moments of joyfulness, there's prasada. Prasad. But there's also the platform of devotional service, and by the mercy especially of Srila Prabhupada and his representatives, we're now engaged in devotional service. So what is that devotional service? To actually become, as it says here, Gata Ruchi, to actually bring about this taste that we're looking for. So that when we chant Hare Krishna, it is not just the letters of the alphabet, as Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said. It's actually, we're experiencing Krishna's presence. We're experiencing Srimati Radharani's presence. We're experiencing the presence of the spiritual world and the associates. We're feeling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feelings of separation from Krishna, which is bring us deeper and deeper into the spiritual world, into the ecstasies and sentiments of the residents of Vrindavan. We're feeling the joyfulness of the devotees meditating on the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like Raghunath Das Goswami, who gave instructions to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He was meditating on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on Govardhan Hill, clutching a stone and weeping in ecstasy due to separation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu feeling the separation from Radha and Krishna and Vrindavan, clutching a stone on Govardhan Hill. And Raghunath Goswami said, this is driving me mad thinking of this. That he's relishing it even more, perhaps, than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is relishing feeling of separation. He's feeling separation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, feeling separation. So how to do that? How to come to that platform that we're hankering for, this Kataruchi? Therefore, acting on the second-class platform. Ishvare tad adineshu Valisheshu Vitsatsucha Prema Maitri Kripo Peka Yat Karoti Samadhya Maha. We want to love Krishna, Ishvara. That's where our prema goes to. Shraddha develops, every stage is simply development towards prema. And we have a little of that prema, otherwise we wouldn't be here. One time I wrote to Srila Prabhupada and I sent him a small amount of money for some Bhagavad Gitas that we had sold. And Prabhupada wrote me back the letter and said in the letter, thank you very much for this contribution of love. So by that time I had realized, although it took a little while, that I didn't have prema yet. But I realized that even this little contribution, Prabhupada saw I was focusing my attention, at least I mailed the donation, and I was giving whatever love we had in the form of offering this to the spiritual master. And Prabhupada appreciated that and understood it had to be fanned and developed. And how was it developed? In the association of devotees. Machita, Machkata, Prana, Bodhiashpa, Parashparam. We're talking about our realizations. However big they may be, however small they may be, we're talking about Krishna. We're fulfilling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire. Whoever we meet, we tell them something about Krishna. It may be in an audience, so many devotees interested in hearing about Krishna. It may be, hopefully, in a smaller group. We're telling our wife or our children about Krishna. We're telling our friends about Krishna. Or we're on the street and we're giving a book to someone, hoping that they read it and find out about Krishna. We're doing our service to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his mission. And we're doing it especially in the association of devotees, trying to do it appropriately. Understand who to hear from, who to try to accept and serve, who to give information to, who to serve. Dadati prati grinati guyamakiti prichati. To engage in these loving exchanges with the devotees, offering these gifts in charity of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, the practices of Krishna consciousness, the prasadam, offering and accepting these loving exchanges, and of course appropriately. Learning how to respect people who are just chanting Hare Krishna, but don't follow very strictly. Try to avoid this tendency to criticize them and dwell on their faults rather than appreciate what they're, even the little spark of devotional service they're manifesting. To try to actually cooperate with the devotees and not think, I know everything. I am been here for 40 years. What about you? Oh, 30. 30, 3/4 of what I know. Give up everything and surrender to Krishna. Me too. No, to be open, to realize, what do I actually know? I think I'm this body most of the time. And when I not think I'm this body, that's when I'm asleep. Who knows what body I'm dreaming of? So what do I actually know, according to what Krishna says, is genuine knowledge? So why should I impose my will upon everyone else with the idea that I know everything? Me and Krishna. So cooperate with the devotees, try to compromise for the satisfaction, for the well-being of the Hare Krishna movement, to show the idea of cooperation, surrender. If I can't surrender to the devotees, who am I going to surrender to? If my spiritual master, if I'm actually surrendered to my spiritual master, then he's teaching me how to surrender to the devotees. So my love for my spiritual master will be manifested in how I'm cooperating with the devotees. As Prabhupada said, to spread the Hare Krishna movement. Not just to keep peace in the movement so we can take prasadam and digest it nicely without anxiety. That's not the only purpose of cooperation. No, so we can actually show an example and use our energies in a way that will convince the conditioned soul that cooperation is possible in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy. That people can actually be loving and have a relationship based on love and trust, love and truth. Not simply cooperating with each other to exploit others. Then we can actually help the conditioned souls, including ourselves, understand Krishna more with enthusiasm, develop a little desire within them to render some service to Krishna, focus their attention a little bit on Krishna, and give a little service to Krishna. Then when we get that a little taste, when we see everyone has the potential at least of giving some love to Krishna, giving some attention to Krishna, then our attachment to this force in this world now, which is so strong to draw our minds away from Krishna. Our minds can come up with so many excuses. It's all right, Prabhu, you've done so much service today, relax, you need some diversion, it's so heavy, this Hare Krishna movement and the devotees in it. Please relax, take a break into Maya for a few minutes, and don't worry, I'll protect you, I'll bring you right back. Maya, what happened? Oh, I'm sorry, I fell asleep. I would have brought you back, but I was asleep myself. No, then we'll develop some distaste for all these persons who are equally an illusion or more an illusion than we are, who are the so-called authorities of this material world. These people are writing books, giving us the news, who instructed us in school, who are on the internet, on Facebook. Showing us their face. I'm so happy. What about you? I'm happy too. Tell us about you. Well, today I was chanting Hare Krishna and no, you. Tell us about you. What were you? So people they want to focus their attention and have everyone focus their attention and give their love to themselves. But we want to focus people's attention and give their love to Krishna and not become distracted by this huge influence in Kali Yuga, which is encouraging us in exactly the opposite direction. And to some extent has misdirected our attention, misdirected our efforts to something other than the Sankirtan movement. And the Sankirtan movement is a big movement. It's not only a movement on the street, it's a movement in our house. It's in our movement in other people's houses. It's in the movement wherever we are. We're all part of the Hare Krishna movement. And Krishna is everywhere. And he wants to spread the movement as far as at every place, at every moment in this world, and perhaps in the future in other worlds too. If it's not already going on, the Sankirtan movement. In the heavenly planets or wherever else. So let us try to understand we have an opportunity to practice amongst ourselves, to help each other at every moment become Krishna conscious, not to put Krishna consciousness in some little place, in some little time. It's a very broad movement. And in that way, help ourselves and help others at every moment try to become Krishna conscious. So Prabhupada, he saw a movement where we're thinking about utilizing everyone's talents. Whether we're expert at accounting, or playing music, or theater, or art, or drama, everything. To utilize whatever energy we have and utilize it simply to glorify Krishna. So that people actually want to give their energy and give their love for Krishna. So if we think about how to engage others in Krishna's service, then that is our service. How to encourage others in what they're good at, what they want to do for Krishna. Encourage them to do it even more for Krishna. And to unite together, not simply at these festivals, because there's always the preachers in the movement trying to give everyone guilt feelings. Why are you not out distributing books? Why are you here at the festival eating prasadam? There are so many conditioned souls out there. You should feel guilty. Why are you not on Harinam right now? Why is it only one day a year you're on Harinam? So we think, oh my God, why should I come to this class? They're going to lay this guilt trip on me. You rascals, one time you were full-time devotees, and now you're all in Maya. And I can see it all in your face. No, we're not supposed to try, although there's that tendency there. We're not trying to, as they say in America, lay a guilt trip on the devotees. We're supposed to broaden our minds so we understand how to actually get this Kataruchi. It will be incomplete if we simply try to love Krishna. It will be incomplete if we simply try to love those devotees and saris, or other clothes too. It will be incomplete if we only once in a while try to help the innocent. It will also be incomplete if we only try to become detached from the material energy and those who are trying to influence us into the material energy in some way or another. It will only become complete when we organize our lives so everything is connected together. That we actually are acting on the second-class platform individually and collectively. Then we'll actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be able to realize the mercy he's giving us already. Undoubtedly, we can see in our history of ISKCON, when Srila Prabhupada was here, because, as Kadamba Kanana said, in his presence, at least I felt, and I know others felt also, but I felt I was in Vaikuntha. And I was in Vaikuntha, as close as I've come to Vaikuntha. And following Prabhupada's instructions, especially when I didn't want to follow his instructions. And I followed them anyhow because somehow or another, some intelligence creeped in. I don't know how. And I decided I better surrender to the intelligence because it won't be very auspicious if I don't do it. And then I received some, what I consider special mercy. when Prabhupada was here, the faith was there, and we have our history of ISKCON, where big leaders had what we think was big problems. One time one devotee said to Prabhupada, I'm very insignificant, I have no value, I'm worthless, I'm very small, but I have this big problem. Prabhupada looked at him and said, how can someone so small and insignificant, how can someone small have a big problem? So undoubtedly we have a history, and we may dwell on that history, big leaders, and don't trust, when I grew up, I was part of the war in Vietnam was going on, and counterculture, and don't trust anyone over 30 until you get 30, and then it's 40 and 50 and whatever. So of course, there will be problems. There were problems. There will be problems. There's no problem with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. There's problems with not following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. Therefore, although the preaching was going on with full force, seemingly, but the devotees didn't have full knowledge either. It is due to inspiration coming from Prabhupada and from following the faith that we had in Prabhupada, and therefore also faith in his instructions, and faith that the leaders were giving us Prabhupada's instructions. Well, the happy thing is, the leaders are still giving Prabhupada's instructions. The mystique, perhaps, that the leaders are all Mahabhagavats. I'm sure if we did a survey for anyone over 10 or over 5 years in the movement, whatever else, probably most of us don't think that every leader in the Hare Krishna movement is a Mahabhagavat, and that for that reason we're following the instructions. Some of the leaders may be Mahabhagavats, perhaps they are Mahabhagavats, some of them may be Kanistadhikaras, some of them may be Madhyamadhikaras, but if they're giving us the instructions how to act on the Madhyamadhikari platform, giving us the instructions how to love Krishna, how to cooperate with the devotees, how to help the innocent become Krishna conscious, how to avoid those who are the things that are drawing our minds away from Krishna. If we hear those instructions coming through our disciple succession, then even if those who are giving us the instructions, they're not perfect, but if they're giving us perfect instructions and we follow those perfect instructions, then we're on the road to becoming perfect ourselves. And that's all Prabhupada's asking of us. He's not asking us to find the perfect person, and when we find the perfect person, then finally we'll get perfect instructions. And when we follow this, because we're following the perfect person, therefore we get the perfect instructions. We have the perfect person. And those who are following the perfect person's instructions and giving us those perfect instructions, they are perfect. That is their perfection. And that will be our perfection too. If we understand it, that we're not the doer, Krishna is the doer. And we allow ourselves to become instruments for Krishna by following those perfect instructions, that is our perfection. And if we keep on trying to become perfect, one day we'll realize that that was our perfection, and that will lead us to the actual perfection of Kataruchi, of having a taste for Krishna consciousness. We don't have to hanker for the taste. We have to do something to get the taste. And that's what we're already doing that. All of us are doing it. We just have to do more of it. And then we'll get more of what we're looking for. We'll get more of the taste. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gora Premanande.